Rivals of Destiny. Part 1. Alpha Academy Beginnings. Arrival at the Academy. The transport shuttle descended through the shimmering force field that protected the Alpha Academy. From above, the campus looked like a fortress carved into the earth, walls of obsidian alloy, training fields stretching into the horizon, and towers bristling with weapons that could repel any alien incursion. For the cadets arriving that day, it was more than a school. It was destiny. Cale Draven stepped off the shuttle with the confidence of someone born to command. His uniform was immaculate, his posture rigid, his eyes sharp as steel. He carried himself like a general already, though he was only 12. Behind him, whispers followed. That's General Draven's son. He's supposed to be a prodigy. They say he's already scored higher than half the senior cadets in simulations. Orion Vera disembarked moments later, silent and unreadable. His hair was darker, his gaze colder, his movements precise. Unlike Cale, he had no family name to bolster him. He was the orphan of war, raised by the Republic itself. But the instructors knew his file. His scores were as high as Cale's, his instincts sharper, his determination unyielding. If Cale was fire, Orion was ice. The two boys locked eyes across the courtyard. Neither spoke. Neither smiled. But in that instant, a rivalry was born. The first trial. The academy wasted no time. On their first day, cadets were thrown into the trial of endurance, a grueling race across the desert wastes surrounding the campus. The suns blazed overhead, the sand burned beneath their boots, and the air shimmered with heat. Many cadets faltered within the first hour. But Cale and Orion ran side by side, neither willing to fall behind. Cale's lungs burned, but he refused to slow. Orion's muscles ached, but he pushed harder. Every time Cale surged ahead, Orion matched him. Every time Orion gained ground, Cale clawed it back. By the time they reached the finish line, both collapsed in the dust, exhausted but unbroken. The instructors exchanged glances. Two prodigies. Two rivals. This will be interesting. Years of rivalry. The academy became their battlefield. In combat training, Cale fought with precision, every strike calculated. Orion fought with fury, every move driven by instinct. In tactical simulations, Cale devised brilliant strategies, anticipating every possibility. Orion countered with improvisation, turning chaos into victory. Their rivalry consumed them. Neither allowed themselves friends. Neither admitted weakness. Their world narrowed to a single point, the other's shadow. Yet beneath the competition, something deeper stirred. Cale respected Orion's strength, even as he sought to surpass it. Orion admired Cale's discipline, even as he sought to break it. They would never admit it, but each pushed the other to heights they might never have reached alone. The S+ revelation. At 16, the Academy conducted its most feared evaluation, the Alpha ranking ceremony. Cadets were tested in mind, body, and spirit, their genetic potential measured against centuries of data. Most Alphas ranked somewhere between B and A. A handful reached S. But S+? That was myth. Cale stood in the evaluation chamber, sensors scanning every cell of his body. The results flashed across the network. Alpha S+. The Republic erupted in celebration. He was hailed as the future of humanity. But before the cheers faded, Orion's results appeared. Alpha S+, identical. The Academy had never seen two S+ alphas in the same generation. The Republic had never seen two rivals, so evenly matched. Overnight, Cale and Orion became symbols, their faces broadcast across every screen. Children wore their likenesses on badges. Adults debated which would rise higher. The rivalry was no longer private. It belonged to the Republic. Graduation Duel. Their final year culminated in the Graduation Duel, a tradition older than the Academy itself. Two cadets were chosen to fight before the Republic Council, a symbolic test of strength and leadership. The choice was obvious: Cale and Orion. The duel was brutal. Cale fought with precision, every strike calculated. Orion fought with fury, every move driven by instinct. Steel rang against steel, sweat and blood mingling on the arena floor. Hours passed, neither yielding. And when the final blow fell, both collapsed, too exhausted to rise. The judges declared it a draw, the first in Academy history. The Republic roared with approval. Two champions, equal in power, equal in destiny. But as Kale lay on the ground, staring at Orion across the arena, he felt something shift. For the first time, he saw not just a rival, but someone who understood the weight he carried. And Orion, catching Kale's gaze, felt the same. Closing scene. The sun set over the academy, casting long shadows across the training fields. Kale stood at the gates, his uniform crisp, his future ahead. Orion stood opposite, silent, unreadable. They would leave the academy as captains of different regiments, destined to fight the Republic's wars. But in that moment, as the wind carried the scent of steel and dust, they both knew their story was only beginning. Part 2. Trials of Strength. The Gauntlet. The Academy's instructors believed in breaking cadets down before building them up. The Gauntlet was the most feared of all trials, a week-long ordeal designed to test endurance, combat skill, and mental resilience. Few cadets completed it without injury. Kale entered the Gauntlet with fire in his veins. Every obstacle was a chance to prove he was superior. Scaling walls under gunfire, sprinting across minefields, wrestling through simulated alien drones, he attacked each challenge with precision. Orion, by contrast, moved like water. Where Kale calculated, Orion adapted. He flowed through traps, turned setbacks into advantages, and seemed to thrive in chaos. By the third day, only two cadets remained unbroken, Kale and Orion. Their rivalry had become the Gauntlet's heartbeat, each refusing to yield, each pushing the other beyond human limits. Clash in the arena. On the fifth night, the Gauntlet demanded a duel. The arena was lit by harsh floodlights, the air thick with dust. Kale and Orion faced each other, weapons in hand. "You won't win this time," Kale said, his voice low, steady. Orion's eyes gleamed. "Winning isn't the point. Surviving is." The duel began. Kale struck with calculated ferocity, every move designed to corner Orion. Orion countered with unpredictable speed, slipping past Kale's defenses, striking from angles no one else would dare. The clash lasted until dawn. Neither fell. Neither surrendered. The instructors, watching from the stands, whispered among themselves, "These two are beyond anything we've seen." Respect in silence. After the duel, both collapsed in the infirmary, bruised and bloodied. Kale stared at the ceiling, his body aching. Orion lay in the bed beside him, silent. For a long time, neither spoke. Then Kale muttered, "You fight like a storm. No discipline. No order." Orion turned his head, his lips twitching into a faint smile. "And you fight like a machine. No soul. No risk." Kale chuckled despite himself. For the first time, their words carried no venom, only recognition. In that silence, a fragile respect began to take root. The network's heroes. The Republic broadcasted footage of the Gauntlet across every channel. Citizens watched in awe as Kale and Orion defied exhaustion, fought through impossible odds, and refused to yield. Their names trended across the network. Children mimicked their moves in playgrounds. Adults debated who was stronger. Kale's father sent him a message, "You are destined for greatness." Orion received none, only the quiet knowledge that the Republic itself was watching him. For both, the weight of expectation grew heavier. But so did the bond between them, forged in sweat, blood, and silence. Closing scene of Part 2. On the final day of the Gauntlet, Kale and Orion stood side by side at the finish line. Their uniforms were torn, their bodies scarred, but their eyes burned with unyielding fire. The instructors saluted them. The Republic cheered. And though neither would admit it aloud, they both knew they had survived because of each other. Their rivalry was no longer just competition. It was the crucible of something greater. Part 3. The S+ ranking. Ceremony of Ascension. The Great Hall of the Alpha Academy was alive with anticipation. Hundreds of cadets stood in formation, their uniforms crisp, their faces taut with nerves. Above them, banners of the Republic hung like guardians, shimmering under the light of the twin suns. Cale Draven stepped forward first. His heart pounded, but his face betrayed nothing. He was the son of a general, the heir to a legacy of command. The genetic scanner hummed as it analyzed his DNA, his neural pathways, his potential. The results flashed across the screen. Alpha S+. The hall erupted. Cadets cheered, instructors nodded in approval, and Cale's chest swelled with pride. He had done it. He was the strongest. Then Orion Vera stepped forward. The orphan of war, the boy with no family name, no legacy but his own. The scanner hummed again, slower this time, as if reluctant to reveal the truth. The results appeared, Alpha S+. The hall fell silent. Then chaos. 2 S+ alphas, side by side. It was unheard of. The Republic reacts. Within hours, the news spread across the Republic. Broadcasts replayed the ceremony, commentators debated the implications, and citizens argued over which of the two would rise higher. Cale's father sent him a message. You are destined for greatness. Do not let anyone stand in your way. Orion received none. Only the quiet knowledge that the Republic itself was watching him. Children wore their likenesses on badges. Adults debated their strengths in markets and forums. The rivalry was no longer private. It belonged to the Republic. Pressure of fame. Cale felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him. Every move he made was scrutinized, every word dissected. He was no longer just a cadet, he was a symbol. Orion, meanwhile, carried his fame like a burden. He had never sought glory, only survival. Yet now, strangers hailed him as a hero, a prodigy, a legend. In the training fields, their rivalry burned hotter than ever. Every duel drew crowds. Every simulation became a spectacle. And though neither would admit it aloud, both knew they were shaping each other into something greater. Private moments. Late at night, Cale sat alone in the dormitory, staring at the message from his father. Do not let anyone stand in your way. His jaw tightened. But Orion isn't just anyone. He's different. Across the hall, Orion sat at his desk, reviewing tactical simulations. His fingers moved swiftly across the console, but his thoughts drifted. Cale fights like he's already a general. Calculated. Controlled. But he doesn't see the chaos. He doesn't feel it the way I do. For the first time, Orion wondered if their rivalry was more than competition. Perhaps it was destiny. Closing scene of Part 3. The sun set over the academy, casting long shadows across the training fields. Cale and Orion stood side by side, their uniforms crisp, their futures ahead. The Republic cheered their names, but in the silence between them, something deeper stirred. They were rivals. They were equals. And soon, they would be legends.